Hello, everyone. This is Kripa Anand, and welcome to the CanadianSME Small Business Podcast. Today, we are looking at how small businesses can move beyond just playing with AI to actually embedding it into the DNA of their operations. In 2026, you don't need a massive tech team to leverage world class automation. You just need the right orchestration. Joining us is Žilvinas Girėnas, head of product at nexos.ai. With over 15 years of experience building B2B SaaS products, Žilvinas is an expert in NLP and agentic workflows. He's leading the charge at nexos.ai to provide an all in one platform that unifies model access and no code agent creation for lean teams. So, before further ado, let's welcome this special guest. Žilvinas, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you with us.
Hey, Kripa, nice to be here. Nice to be talking with you.
Now, Žilvinas, many SME owners, they feel that they are already behind the AI curve, right? Or that they need a specialized team to get started into the process. So let's start by understanding from your, extensive experience, how can SMEs get immediate value from AI without large teams or, heavy budgets?
That's a very valid question. And by the way, I can relate with those people because even as a builder, being in the field, I feel the same. I feel overwhelmed every day with all the proceedings. But coming back to your question, the thing is that many people think that AI is costly, it's complex, and it's only meant for large companies, what you said, having big teams. However, small businesses, they are quickly catching up already. And if you look a year ago, big companies used AI almost twice as much as SMEs. And now the difference is already gone. So SMEs are catching up. What I would give, like as a very simple example, everybody should think about like just one annoying task you do daily or you do weekly, and I'm sure you can find one, I can find one. Just try to write it down, and writing it down is already like 80% of the work done, because the models, the tools, the applications are already so powerful that you can just put in this problem and you can get an immediate job spawned, an agent spawned, or whatever a worker created for that very specific task you have.
Definitely, yeah, I agree with you. Focusing on immediate productivity, wins. It's clearly the best way to demystify technology and get the team on board, right? Great. Now, Žilvinas, let's explore how AI is empowering generalists to drive impact across multiple roles. So, how does AI empower generalists more than, the traditional tools that are already available in the market out there?
So what the whole AI revolution is bringing, that the learning curve of a specialized role is now very, like, it's very quick to get on top of the curve, on top of the wave. And if we know generalists as like the people with good entrepreneurial mindset, now this mindset can be put into the place where you leverage the tools as your specialists. So you free up your time to do like the specialist work, you delegate it to AI tools, and you can continue doing what you are good at as a generalist. So like you connect the dots, you think about the strategy, about the continuous customer journey, and so on. And the specialist work is just like AI agent or a specific tool doing your work. So if in the old days, like you need to analyze data, you need to learn probably Excel or some BI tool, you need to design a logo, you need some graphic design tool. Now you just, if you are good at like defining, again, what is your problem, what you want to achieve, then it's very easy. Write it down, delegate it to AI tool, move on to the next task. Don't forget, of course, to check what was produced, adjust it. And like it's still a human who is connecting all the dots and making it unique based on your business needs.
No, it makes perfect sense, right? Because earlier, I agree with you. You had to, learn the entire subject to be able to, master in that. But now with AI being in the picture, all you have to do is just being really good at prompting, right? If you're able to give a good prompt, majority of the job is already taken care of, right? And you just, as a human, you just need to oversee the process.
Just to add to it, prompting
Yeah,
is like the first level to master, and probably now it's easiest to master.
yeah.
The next one would be like to actually understand the power of the
Mm,
AI tools, because the area, the brain behind those tools is getting smarter, like not every day, every hour.
yeah.
The user interface, like it's still a chat box, right?
Mm,
So you need to know, like, by doing, learning by doing that, like what are those magic words, magic hints, which will
right.
make the output not only good, but somewhat also unique for you. So like you still need to input that, like your very scarce, very specific knowledge into the prompt.
Wow, it's amazing in the world that we are living, right? Because we've literally seen the best of the traditionals when we are growing up, and now right into AI, right? So that's pretty interesting. Moving ahead, Zilvinas, let's discuss how shifting from isolated AI use to integrated workflows. That is the thing that unlocks the real scale opportunity, right? So how can businesses turn AI into a consistent workflow rather than, just focusing on one individual single app?
So, very good question. And to answer it, like where we started, like a simple task, a simple prompt,
Yeah.
to apply it at the scale of a business, an organization, you need to have some system thinking, right? And if you have that, then you are able to map those individual atomic tasks into a workflow. If
Mhm.
you're able to map it, I don't know, if you can even draw it on paper, that's a very good blueprint, again, to feed back to the different tools and
Yeah.
have your processes built based on it. So like there's plenty of no code tools. There's uh, things like, I don't know, templating, prompt sharing, different training available in the teams. But like somebody has to take the lead and kind of
Hmm.
say, okay, we do it this way. And there's no wrong way. Like there's still a lot of experimentation even when you start scaling AI, and
Hmm.
you can read very different stories even from the organizations who are using the same tool, and like they get different outputs. But if those outputs work for them, if they can turn those outputs into outcomes, then
Yeah.
probably they succeeded, right?
Very well said. I completely agree with this. Before we go any further, here's a special message for all of the listeners, especially for all the entrepreneurs watching. In 2026, your competition isn't just using AI, they are building agents. If you are still manually copying and pasting data between apps, you are burning your most valuable asset, that is your time. The limitless you concept isn't just a marketing slogan. It's a business reality. You can build an AI agent with a single prompt to handle your research, your filing, and your outreach. So stop being the bottleneck in your own business and start delegating the repetitive work to the machine. Now coming back to you, Zilvanas, creating a limitless team starts with automating the repetitive tasks that drain your creative energy. So that is the ultimate takeaway that I'd want our listeners to take away from this. And also, we talked about lean teams in the beginning, right? I mentioned that.
Mhm.
So let's look at how teams can identify the most effective starting points for AI adoption, because the information is there, the awareness is there, but usually as an individual, when you're about to start something, you don't know where to take that first step from, right? So I'd love for you to explain to our listeners what are the best early AI use cases for lean teams. Go ahead.
Mhm. So we covered the individual work and like the daily repeating tasks. Let's not go back. But the next ones, like even if you don't know where to start, you can look at the industry. What the industry is saying, like where it all started, where it proved to work. The first one is customer support. So, for example, we see companies who are leveraging AI to handle 70%, 80%, or even more of the customer inquiries. Because many times it's like, yeah, people are maybe too lazy to read even like the existing knowledge bases provided to them. AI can just pinpoint exactly there. They can get a follow-up question and so on. And if AI cannot answer, then the task is delegated to a human. Then
Yeah.
very different follow-ups and like communicating with your prospects, with your customers. AI is super good at managing text data. It's super good at managing big contexts of data. So for
Mm-hmm.
example, even if you get a reply to an email from your prospect, AI can pull in different data. It can look up similar sales cases you had before, learn from them, and like craft a very specific, not a generic, that's very important, a very
Mm-hmm.
specific answer for that specific case, for that specific customer, and so on. And as I said, like all the text cases, so writing, making summaries, translations, like
Yeah.
all of that can be handled really, really easily.
No, definitely. I think what you're saying is SMEs can now basically scale their output with AI without actually increasing the headcount, right? So using an AI gateway to orchestrate multiple models, that's a brilliant way to ensure high quality output at a manageable cost. I'm loving this conversation, Žilvinas, and definitely we'd love for you to be back, hopefully for an in-person episode, the next that we do. But for now, before we let you go, if there's one final piece of advice that you have for all the entrepreneurs or founders or owners who are overwhelmed by rapid AI advancements, what is that one thing you'd tell them and why?
I will repeat what I said at the beginning. Like we all feel overwhelmed, even the ones building the different tools. So
Yeah.
let me say it straight, like it's normal to feel this way. And don't try to chase every new tool which you see on different posts, on the people you follow from the different channels. If you find the one which works for you, which can solve even the most simple case, try to stick to it, try to scale it, try to share it internally. Once you feel comfortable doing that, then it's
Yeah.
time to explore. Maybe another tool can do it slightly better, but kind of try to find your own way. That's what I would say.
That is very reassuring, I'm sure, for a lot of our listeners, because you need that one supporting voice of guidance when you're in that state of mind, right? So thank you so much for being that. That is also a great reminder that practical adoption will always beat theoretical complexity in a business environment, right? So thank you so much for joining us, Zilvinas. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that was Žilvinas Girėnas from nexos.ai, a masterclass in how to move past the AI hype and build a limitless business through secure, agentic workflows. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and visit CanadianSME.ca for more resources. And lastly, a very special thank you to our podcast partners, UPS and ADP, our HR partner, for their ongoing commitment to empowering small businesses across Canada. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Kripa Anand signing off.